Hi guys, my name's Adele Onyango and welcome to another episode of Legally Clueless. No, seriously, I have no clue what I'm doing, but I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one. Hi and welcome to episode 19 of Legally Clueless. I am so happy that you're part of our little fam and I hope you're having a brilliant day or about to have a brilliant day. Okay, I don't know when you're listening to this, so you know what? I just hope you're good. Whatever day it is, whatever time, I just hope you're good, like I am. Before we get into today's episode, next week is a huge one for us. It's our 20th episode, and it's going to be dedicated to the International Day of Friendship, which is on the 30th of July. So I'm going to be inviting my best friend Val, we've been best friends for 15 years, to an episode. We're going to have fun times, discuss friendship, have a lot of games and trivia. But I thought it would be really dope if I could shout you and your friends out on that episode. So if you want to celebrate that special friend in your life who's been friends with you for 2 years, 15 years, some of us are old, okay? And you just really want to put a smile on their face, all you have to do is go into our Instagram page, which is Legally Clueless Podcast. You can DM or you can comment and just let me know your name, your friend's name, and what you love about your friend. And I'll make sure in next week's episode, I shout you and your friend out and just celebrate you guys as being friends. Cool? All right? Got it? Good. All right. So clearly I'm in a really good mood and I promise there's no wine in front of me as I'm recording this. I've had a very interesting weekend and I've bumped into something that I've always been very scared of. But my mom used to tell me this thing when I was a kid, especially because I used to ask her for such frivolous things. If we would go shopping, I was that kid who would constantly be asking for chocolates and sweets and my mom was tough. Like, she would just say no, and on the few occasions that she said yes to buying me candy while we were shopping, she would buy me like the cheapest chocolates ever, like the tiny ones, the ones you're just like, hey, if it's this you're buying me, then it's fine. I don't want it. No, but yeah, so she always used to tell me that when you ask somebody for something, there's 3 possible answers you could get: yes, no, or maybe. I love getting the answer yes. I don't mind maybes because maybes can lean closer to yes. What I hate is getting the answer no, especially if it's something linked to my career or wanting to advance or a project that I've created. I hate getting a no or rejection. So a couple of weeks ago, there was an organization that reached out to me and they had this event and they wanted me to be part of it. And I was like, all right. So I really need to balance between making sure each month has its income, but also not just picking every job, making sure that the jobs I take and the partnerships I get into are completely in line with my vision and where I want either my brand to grow or my initiative to grow to or whatever products I have, right? So this company reached out to me and I was just like, all right, you're dealing with the youth. I'm dealing with the youth too. We can deal with the youth together. No. And they were like, yeah, we have this event and we want you to be part of it in, this capacity. And it was going to be a lot of work. And so they were like, yeah, could you just send us your rate card, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, dope. So I send my rate card. Also on the whole rate card thing, it took me such a long time to attach value to my work because that's all. I don't know if I'm the only person who finds it hard to do, like to attach value to the work I do or to the skills that I have, because we're always conditioned to play down our strengths and play down our skills, right? So we kind of settle for whatever rate is pushed on us. So coming up with a rate card, and I just actually reviewed my rate cards, right? So that was really hard for me to do because I was just like, oh my God, am I really worth that? Like, maybe I'm thinking to hire myself, blah, blah, blah. That whole weird thing that we do. So anyway, so as for my rate card, send them this new and improved rate card. And they're like, it's too high, which is okay because there's room to negotiate, right? That's how you kind of do business. But you also have in your head an amount that you're like, if I go lower than this, I am operating at a loss and there's no way I can do that. Anyway, so back and forth chat, and then they go silent for like 2 weeks. So in my head, I'm just like, all right, so they've decided to go with somebody else. No problem. That's cool. I was giving myself that whole talk. And then I'm like, maybe even the entire event has been cancelled. Anyway, so they popped back up last week, towards the end of last week, going into the weekend. And they're like, yo, okay, we really want to do this, blah, blah, blah. But your rate is too high. Can you bring it down? So I'm just like, honestly, like, it's a lot of work. And I know what I'm bringing onto the table. I really can't bring it down. And even before I did that, I had to have that talk with myself. For Adele, you know what you're bringing onto the table. You know the work you put in, and you've got good work ethic. You know how much time and effort will go into preparing for this. You know the manpower that you will need on your own on the side for this job to be done well. So stick to your guns. Because I'm that type of person, like, if you look me square in the eye and you're just like, please do this for free, I could possibly say yes. So I always have to like prepare and just be like, oh my God. Get into your business mode. Anyway, so I say I can't go any lower. And then they say, okay, cool, we're going into a meeting and we'll see whether this is going to work. Maybe 3 hours later, they call and they're like, yo, so we can't work with you. So at first I was like, you know what, it's all right. Because also the day of that gig is Val, my best friend's birthday. So I was like, okay, I mean, that was going to be a heavy day anyway. You know, you tell yourself these things to be like, it was going to be a heavy day anyway, so it's cool. I don't, it's fine. I'm going to be with friends and family anyway on that day, so it's okay. I did feel some type of way, though, after all of that fronting. I did feel some type of way. I was just like, first, I knew my rates, and I know my rates are not unreasonable, because I know what goes into getting the job done. And I was like, is it a personal thing? Like, is it me? Am I... what is it? And it was my first no since resigning, and that also slaps differently. You're just like, whoa, maybe I should not have resigned. But I was like, anyway, to be quite frank, I think the energy was off from the word go. So I was like, you know what, this really was not meant for you. And sometimes you can tell the jobs that you're just like, oh my God, this is right down my alleyway. I really want to do this. And I feel inclined to do this. I don't know how to explain that even in words or whatever. It's just that feeling when the energy is right with a certain job or with a certain partnership. You're like, yes, this is actually meant for me. In hindsight, I didn't really feel that. It felt like a job. And most of the things that I do, even that are paying, don't feel like jobs. They feel like a passion project. Yeah. Anyway, I'm weird like that. So the energy was off. So I was like, maybe that really wasn't meant for me, to be quite frank. Anyway, so I feel some type of way. And then literally 2 or so hours after that whole phone conversation and blah, 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 I get an email, and it's from someone who works in Facebook. And I met them when I was in Ethiopia in April. If you listen to the episodes, you know I was in Ethiopia because I recorded an episode there. And he was like, oh, we have selected you to be part of this brilliant project, and I'll give you more details as we go along. But anyway, it was a new opportunity that was smack in line, or rather not was, why am I speaking in past tense? That is smack in line with what I want to do on all fronts, be it me individually, this podcast, my initiative in working with young Africans and African women. And I was just like, yep, this one was meant for me. So I was just like, oh, shake off the blues. I'm back to believing in myself. But it got me thinking about how important it is to 100% believe in your shit, believe in how dope you are, believe in your vision, believe in where your vision is going to go to, Please excuse my neighbor's kid who has just discovered his voice. He's so cute, so I can't even get angry at his screams. Oh. Anyway, that's my baby fever leaking. I just found how important it is to 100% believe in yourself so that when somebody else doesn't, it doesn't shake you as hard. Obviously, it's human to feel some type of way, but just believe in yourself so much that when somebody comes along and doesn't understand you or your vision, rejects you or your vision, it doesn't rattle you as hard. And again, also, it's important to remember that what's meant for you is 100% yours, right? It's making its way to you, or it's waiting and watching you make your way to it. And there's nothing or no one who can take away what is duly meant for you. So even when I'm stressed or I'm thinking that things aren't going according to plan, or things aren't opening up, or the right partners are not availing themselves, I'm just like, where are they? I'm looking, where are they? I always know at the end of the day, first, that this vision is going to become a reality, and that whatever is meant for me, my God, will always be there for me, regardless of how many no's are thrown my way across the way. Anyway, so that was my learning of the week. Whew. Away from that, 100 African stories. This one I thoroughly enjoyed recording because it's a story that deals with an industry that kind of runs parallel to mine. And it's the music industry, and we never really get to hear stories from the managers, the business managers, the road managers of all our favorite musicians and superstars. This story is by Anchi, who was, for a moment in time, I'm not too sure if she still is, Vanessa Mdee, and that's a Tanzanian artist. For those of you who don't know, you need to check out her music. It's absolutely dope. But she was Vanessa Mdee's road manager for a while, and they're really good friends. And she just explains some of the struggles of being a female road manager in Africa.
100 African stories.
There is no proper life that you live in university as a musician.
If I constantly just walked around feeling sorry for myself, I'm never going to get anything done.
There was a bit of frustration in between all of that.
I've been breaking my back for this company.
Therapy is not for the weak or for the crazy.
Stories from Africa.
My name is Anchi. I'm from Nairobi, Kenya. I've been in the entertainment industry for a few years. Well, not 10. But just a few years. And the first time I officially got into entertainment was working with Vanessa Mdee when she came to Kenya to do the Chris Brown show. And it was hell. If you attended, you probably thought everything was so smooth, but at the back there, it's like absolute drama and tears and yeah, it's crazy. And I think my focus is on being a woman in the entertainment industry. I've traveled to a lot of countries in Africa and Europe, and it's the same everywhere. There's a certain way you're treated as a woman in the industry. There's a lot of assumptions about you from people within the industry and those who are not in the industry. And I mean, like, sexual assumptions, because my work was related to, I was a road manager, so I would go wherever Vanessa goes. And many times when we travel, we get like club appearance gigs and stuff like that. So you're around a lot of alcohol, you're around a lot of men, you're dressed for the night. So there's always this assumption like, she's in the entertainment industry, and so you could probably get down with her. Or if you want something done, let's say you write a proposal, there's this assumption like maybe you'll give it up just so that, you can get what it is you want. How did I get in? Vanessa is a good friend of mine. We dropped out of uni together. That was the bond. We're like, yeah, we can do this. Before that, I was a teacher, a Montessori teacher. I know that's such a big difference, but I was a Montessori teacher. And I got bored of the monotony, just every year doing the same thing over and over. I mean, kids have such different characters, but the core is the work, and it was just doing the same thing over and over. And so I started to work for a company called Blackstar, and the boss is now my husband. It happens, Sometimes there's a cute guy at the office. Fortunately, he was the boss, so, And that's when I got my foot into entertainment. And then I had Kwanzaa, my firstborn child. And, of course, now I had to take us, 85 steps back from entertainment, just out of time and, being there for your kid. You can't go out as much. Went back to a school, did administration, but now sitting in the office, not with the kids. And then started blogging and vlogging, and then slowly just got back into entertainment. I think Vanessa found me through that. She was like, okay, you do really well with social media and website stuff, so just come work with me. Yeah, and that's how I got into it. My first experience in the industry was when Vanessa asked me to road manage her when she came to Kenya. It was in Mombasa for the Chris Brown concert. And I had no idea what a road manager does. I was like, yeah, it's okay. You just pay for my flight to Nairobi to Mombasa. Accommodation is sorted. Okay, Sawa, let's do it. Actually, Shafi really helped me during that trip. I was calling him crying, going to his room crying. We don't even have our backstage passes. We don't even have this. We don't have that. We don't have rooms. So Shafi really came through for us. He was a longtime friend, and he knew the organizers. So it was just like, okay, we got our rooms. We weren't sure if Vanessa would be paid by the end of this because she wasn't given anything. Usually the artist gets paid at least a percentage before they set foot in the hotel. Nothing of the sort happened. I mean, we didn't even have a room, so there was no expectation of money, And so show day, before that, of course, there has to be rehearsals. We were refused to get on the stage because Chris Brown. These guys are given so much priority over an African artist. Let me not say African, because there are times we've seen West Africans come to Nairobi and they're given some privileges, and the local artists are just left over there on the side in the corner. Anyway, no hard feelings. Hardish feelings. I'm the one communicating between Vanessa and the organizers. That's basically the job I do. And I'm being given information that's not making sense. We're being told, okay, so the cars will be there to pick you up by 1 p.m. I'm like, okay, but it's already 2:30. So which one? It was so unnecessary. And it felt, when it's your first time at a job and it's not your fault that things are going wrong, but then it's your first time. So it's just I really have to prove myself, Yeah, so it was one of those situations. And at the end of the day, there was a lot of tears. Vanessa cried a lot because she has issues with her eyes. And so usually she gets on the stage just to know how far she should dance to and stop there. So just that when she's doing the actual performance, there's no confusion. I mean, you get a rehearsal, how a rehearsal could be. And then we get kicked out of our room the next day, and then there's nowhere to stay. And yet Vanessa's flight is for the other day. Let's say the show was on Saturday. Her flight is for Monday, but on Sunday morning they were like, hello, I'm sorry, but you have to leave the rooms right now. And we're just like, what? And go where? As it at least me, I can probably find someone I know in Mombasa. But where are we taking this artist? Seriously, come on, guys. She lives in Dar es Salaam, Yeah, so just through that, then now you have to start sweet talking, guys. And it's almost I don't know how this will sound, but you almost have to get almost flirtatious to get your way around something, because this is literally, where the hell are we gonna sleep? You feel like you could almost give up anything. And no, we did not have sex with anyone. So please calm down. But I can see a woman getting to that place because you're so frustrated. You don't know what's going to happen. The artist is looking at you so now what are we supposed to do? I'm just yeah, imagine it's just my first job. We didn't even discuss this nicely, what ifs and, whatnots. And at that point, I don't think I'd say, it's because I was a woman that ABCD happened. But as time goes by, you start to realize, and I started to meet different road managers. in West Africa, in South Africa, and you'd find that men get their way more. Let me not go far. Like someone like Marek. Because we are from East Africa, there's this bond, you know. Vanessa is South African. Is Tanzanian, but she's East African. So if there's a show in Lagos, we find ourselves hanging out with like Sauti Sol, right? As compared to, because like the guys of Lagos, they go to their homes at the end of the day, you know. Us guys will just stay at the hotel having some, you know, fufu or whatever they eat there. We'd have small issues, like we don't have a car to take us around, and yet these are things that have officially been sent to us on email. You're going to have a car, this is the plate number, this is the driver, this is the driver's number, but nothing like that exists. In fact, I don't even know if there's a real car with that number plate, you know. You're just like, what the hell? But we'd get there, and like Sauti Sol are super sorted, you know. They have all the stuff that was sent to them on email. They've gotten it. Of course, you start to feel some type of way. You question a lot of things, like, is it because we are women, or is it because, or what do they expect us to do to be able to get things to, you know, like just run smoothly? I think that Lagos event also got us feeling some type of way a lot because of that, and just even seeing the treatment that our brothers were getting over what we were getting was just, you know, you feel some sort of way. So I remember this one time we were in South Africa, and Vanessa was out there shooting for MTV Base, Sugar, because we were there for a really long time. I think we stayed out there probably for like a month. We were like, we need to get other ways to like generate. I mean, we're in SA. Let's do club appearances, let's do media tours and whatnot. And so there's this one time we went to the club, and a lot of the promoters in SA are Nigerian guys who have moved, and they now live in South Africa, Johannesburg to be exact. The guy got us a really good deal. I think she did an appearance that night, if I'm not wrong. If not an appearance, we went, you know, sometimes they invite you to the club and you just host. So they wouldn't pay you a fee, but they'll get you your drinks and whatnot and play your music, which is the biggest thing. Like, we want the music played in the clubs there. And he sorted out all these things for us. But so we had really decent conversations in the daytime, but it's like in the night someone becomes a vampire or something. I don't even know how to explain. Like, I was just like, who the hell are you? Anyway, so we go to the club, we're having a really good time and whatnot, and then we leave and we are all heading to a friend's who stays out there. And he's also a friend to the promoter. And we go, this now like after party vibes. So we're there enjoying a good time. And I was literally like pushed on the wall. One of those, you know, and you're just like, what exactly are you doing? You know, and he says like, no, you know, I got you guys this deal. So, you know, yeah. And that was, I think we did the South Africa trip after the Chris Brown event. So I was just like, what the hell am I getting myself into? You know, like, you're being made to feel so much less of yourself, or like you owe this person something because they're getting you into a club, or they're getting your music played in a club, and they feel like he was not shy doing this, by the way. The first time he did it, we were in front of other people, you know, and no one is doing anything about it. And I think Vanessa had stepped out to the washroom. There's a level of respect they give the artist, a level of respect, because there are people who cross that boundary, even with the artist, you know. But for me, it's like almost like you don't really have a voice to talk shit about this after anyway. And yeah, so I'm pushed on the wall and he's trying to kiss me, and I'm just like, and at that time I used to guard myself with my son and my husband. I would talk about them a lot, you know, those ones, just for guarding. I'm like, yeah, you know, like my husband, oh my god, he would love this so much. My son, oh my god, oh, my son is even calling, excuse me, you know. I would literally use that. So now it's in the night and he pushes me on the wall and whatnot. And then we have to leave, and we call our own Uber because these guys are now taking a bit too long to, you know, get the cars together. And I was just like, okay, it's getting a bit messy. So we call an Uber, and as we're leaving, this guy is taking us downstairs, and he does it again. He just pushes me on the wall. Okay. At this point now, Vanessa is with me, so I'm just like, okay, thank God. But she's like 25 times smaller than I am. So we're just like, how do we do this, you know? And it's like someone's apartment, and it was awkward because you still have to work with this person the next day. He knows you need him. Like, he's aware. Like, when you come to Johannesburg, this is my territory. You're going to have to talk to me. And at that time, South Africa was so hot. Everybody was recording music out there, doing their videos out there. So a lot of things were happening at that time. Yeah, so that one time, it shook me. And the crazy thing is, I have another friend in the industry who's from South Africa, and she has the same story of the same guy. Yeah, he's horrible. Man. I feel like giving his handle out right now just so that y'all can be careful when you're around these monsters, because there's those type of men out there, you know, and you see, it makes you really second guess everybody now, because you're just like, you're probably just gonna want me. Maybe he's not even, maybe it's a nice guy, you know, and he's not even thinking of doing anything with you. But I came back, I don't think I told Brian about it. No, we didn't. You know, there's stupid guilt you feel when you're abused, you know. It's like, okay, maybe it's my fault that I have this job, and you know. So I didn't speak to him about it, also because he's very protective, and he'd be like, so who's that guy? And I'm just like, okay, so are you going to pay for a flight to go meet him in Johannesburg, or like, you know, how will this go? And I kind of just like blocked it, because I was like, you know what, it's probably gonna happen again. I just need to be more aware and more. But that kind of doesn't happen, because like Vanessa was, I'm not sure if she still is, but at the time Hennessy was a brand that was very much interested in her. So those are the things we're drinking. You know what I mean? And you assume you're around safe people who have paid for your flight to come all this way, or they are looking for ways to market you. You think you're safe around these people, but you know, and you're working in after hours, so it's not like after work we went for a drink. No, that drink is the work, you know. So you feel like, I should be safe around this person, or I can even tell you, please, like, I need to go to the washroom, do you mind taking me? But then I got some sort of like, you know, if Vanessa says she's going to the washroom, we are going, and we're going with the bouncer and whoever else is our team, you know. So I think after that, that's how I felt a lot, until we went to West Africa, home of my feces. What? There was a lot of aggressive people, and that assumption of like the women in the industry are loose, it is real out there. I don't know, and they love East African women, like almost obsessed. Adele, I was offered things. I was just like, what? Someone wants to buy your house, they want to pay for your tickets to go like wherever you want to. And like, this is real talk, Adele. Oh, when is your birthday? On your birthday, things can come to you. You're just like, oh my God, now what do I tell my husband? And you know, so it's very, those are the small little things that I'd look at and just be like, imagine it's because I'm a woman. Imagine like Marek is not being sent flowers and phones. Imagine. And like, I love phones, but I literally have to give, like, I would literally refuse. I remember the iPhone, I think it was like iPhone 7 or something, came out, and like they'd bring to the hotel room, and you're like, who's this from? And their juju is real. I'm like, I'll touch this phone and start like, I don't know, become a dog or something. And start chasing that man and want him and refuse to go home, you know? So that's, I think it really put my guard up, especially that SA trip. Yeah, it really did. But as time has gone by, I've experienced that almost everywhere. Such aggressive men who believe it's their right, you know? And you're just like, my God, how am I going to survive in this industry like this, you know? And I'm not married in church, so I don't have a ring. I bought myself a ring for my travels.
Wow.
Yeah, I bought myself a ring, just those ones for, and by the it doesn't help.
I was gonna ask,
because even then they're like, I also have a ring. So these are like married men, you know, all up in your business. And just to say, there's a lot of good men in the industry. There's a lot, like I've given you the example of Shafi, and that's a personal story where there's someone who actually wants to help you for you, and not anything else after, like, okay, I helped you, so Ebu, come to my room now, we chill, you know. There's guys who will protect you from that guy or fight for you, but there's also some wild ones. Yes, I am still in the industry. I work under Black Market Africa, which is run by my husband. and I do their social media. At the moment, I do social media. I want to get back to being a manager for artist manager, but not a road manager. I don't think I have the strength to travel and fight and I want to do brand management. I want to manage your socials, your appearance and whatnot, but not really like be there at the shows. And yeah, that was a lot for me. So now there's Clueless sessions, and that's what I do a lot of. I do the social media, and I literally stand behind my husband during the show. Yeah. The videos will be out soon, so you'll understand what I'm talking about. I was like, I don't want anyone's story. Yeah. Okay, so Clueless Sessions is one of the byproducts of Black Market Africa. And at Clueless Sessions, we have 3 Kenyan artists who come and showcase their work. So it's a safe space for them to come and, listen to it in a studio. Sound in a studio just sounds amazing. And there's all sorts of industry players within the room. We have people from media or producers, vloggers, because they also use music in their vlogs and whatnot. So we are trying to push for that. And so we have 2 musicians and 1 producer who showcase like 3 songs per person. People in the room get to critique. It's tough for some of them because like people give real talk. We really promote that because a lot of times you'll find someone plays their stuff and we're like, oh my God, that's so amazing. Then when you go outside, they're like, wow, that guy's song was so bad. So we really promote people to, give that feedback in the room in the most positive way you can. At Black Market Africa, on Instagram, on Facebook, on Twitter.
Catch our next African stories in the next episode.
That was a very heavy story, just spotlighting some of the challenges women go through in male-dominated spaces. And I'm so thankful to Anchi for sharing it on 100 African Stories. Speaking of sharing things, I started off by telling you in this episode that next week's episode is a huge one, 20th episode, guys. And it is dedicated to celebrating International Day of Friendship. So I want to, on that episode, be able to celebrate you and your best friend. And I think it would be really dope if you either go to our Instagram page, which is Legally Clueless Podcast, or you can use this podcast's hotline. And all you have to do is just tell me your name, your friend's name, and tell me what you love most about your friendship. And just celebrate your friendship. And I'll make sure that you're included in next week's episode. So for those of you who are new and do not know the podcast's WhatsApp number, it's +254 768 628 790. Just record a WhatsApp audio voice note and send it to me. I'll make sure that I celebrate you and your friends in next week's episode. And that's it for this episode of Legally Clueless. You can share this podcast with your friends. You can keep it for yourself. I'm not judging. Just make sure you're here next week for the next episode.